quit, Alex, and now he's running for his life because he said, I will not be a part of the death of 25 to 50 million Americans. Now, look at this. People say, well, the economy is turning around. The economy is turning around. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch the mainstream news, you are absolutely in the brain-dead group already. You cannot think for yourselves because you are accepting the fact that someone will tell you what's going on instead of doing your homework to say, how can this be that the stock market is at record levels when unemployment is absolutely being multiplied, when we've got the situation where the Chinese basically said to the American investment community, go to hell. Your financial instruments are total trash. Alex, do you know what that means? That means $1 quadrillion is called into question because there are no counterparties to take. In essence, when you create a vehicle, investment vehicle, you have a buyer and a seller. And when the buyers say it's all garbage and they write it off, that means that the whole, if you will, the whole characteristics, all of the contents of those financial derivatives are being repudiated. It's going to happen.
Steve, stay there. We're going to come right back to you after this quick break. I want to look at how you see this unfolding into the fall and winter.
Hello, friends. This is Alex Jones, and I want each of you to ask yourself this question. Do you really know what's in your tap water? In a recent study conducted by a major environmental auditor, they found that over 260 chemicals and pollutants are present in municipal drinking water. Many of these chemicals are directly linked to cancer, reproductive, immune, and developmental system diseases. Now, what are you going to do about it? The Quayle Blue atmospheric water generator is a low-cost way to take back control of you and your family's drinking water. The Quayle Blue 28 produces up to 7 gallons of water from the humidity in the atmosphere and uses state-of-the-art carbon filtration, reverse osmosis, and ultraviolet light sterilization techniques. That's right, clean water right from the air you breathe. Order today by calling 1-800-691-6043. That's 1-800-691-6043. Or visit a Quayle Blue on the web at www.ecoloblu.com today. That's a colablue.com.
We're going to continue with Steve Quayle 5 minutes into the next hour. Then for 20, 30 minutes or so, we have Chuck Baldwin, running mate, who was at the MIAC report hearings in Missouri about the feds making local police secret police, listing gun owners, veterans, Ron Paul supporters, libertarians, Christians as terrorists, period. So that's coming up. Then we've got the lady out of Lubbock suing Obama over using the fake name Barack Obama when it's Barry Soetoro on his passport. So whether he was born in Kenya or not, the issue is he's got a fake name. This guy's a total mystery man. We're going back to Steve Quayle to break down how he sees things unfolding and if, in his expert opinion, I really respect Steve. What's your view on what's happening with the economy?
Well, the bottom line is it's the engineered collapse of the Western banking system. And again, to all the pundits who said it would never happen, it's happening. And the situation is, again, Alex, to put it into perspective, the Chinese have just stated who owns the most U.S. dollar foreign reserves is China. China's taken those reserves and is buying all the natural resources around the world, rightly so. At least one thing people ought to understand about the Asian mentality, even in that world of China and Hong Kong, etc., is you still have a certain honor amongst those who trade on an international basis. When the United States issued toxic waste, weapons of financial mass destruction, and when the Chinese see that obviously there is no attempt by the current administration to rein in spending, the reason they're spending like there's no tomorrow is because they know the U.S. dollar is dead. It will have a fake rally. It will rally long enough to allow the international bankers to get out of all the dollars they can. Look, the international discount on dollars is already up to, I'm told, to 40%. In other words, if you want to dump $1 billion U.S. dollars for something else, you're going to take a 40% hit. Most of the money, if not all the money, that was gone into the TARP program and everything else to bail out the banks, listen, the middle class is being destroyed. Let me make it simple. Basic Economics 101. If you don't have a job and don't have money, you can't buy a house and you can't have any fun. You can't go recreating. You can't do anything. That's why the hotels are crashing. They're going into receivership. Restaurants, everybody is running out of cash, and even Cerebus, one of the biggest hedge funds, just denied access to the funds. I've been telling people, if If you have an IRA, TO, 401k, any of those defined benefit plans, you're going to be locked out of them. And today, one of the stories that posted on my website, Steve Quayle, QUAYLE.com, is the fact that different hedge funds don't have the money. Real simple, Alex, here's the easiest thing to tell everybody. Every single bit of capital in the United States has been pledged or stolen. Pledged or stolen. And all we're doing is creating more debt, monetizing the debt, and then sloughing the responsibility for the debt off on the taxpayer. They're spending like there is no end. So what do we have? We have the Amero, or we jump into an Asian-backed commodity basket of currencies. Brazil, Russia, India, China could come up with a brick basket of currencies with a partial commodity backing. But here's the deal. There's a famous statement that money and gold go from weak hands to strong hands. And the strongest guys on the block right now are the Chinese. Jimmy Rogers has warned about it. There are a lot of us have been warning about it for 15 years. But when you're ahead of time, no one believes you until the time. And when the time comes that they're seeing it with their own eyes, you know how they respond? They deny it. They deny it. But they can't deny when they don't have anything in their checking account. And Alex, when this thing goes down, and there will be, I have in my possession the letters that have been initiated by a specific bank holding company to inform their clients. It's not internet bull, you know what, that basically everyone will be given a certain amount of money to withdraw from their account. They quote an executive order that's already been signed. All safety deposit boxes will be seized. Ladies and gentlemen, this is coming, and just because it didn't happen on the 26th, I can tell you point blank that they are getting ready to tank the economy. The international bankers, 300 million Americans have been raped, pillaged, and plundered. Now they're going to go to India and China and do the same thing there. But the Chinese are onto their game, and they're not going to buy into it.
Steve Quayle, is there a way to avert this? Walk through your view of what's going to happen with the flu, how they could use that as a cover for their overall economic collapse and to roll out their military forces.
Well, I think, Alex, you've just said it. It's all going down at the same time. Too many people think of linear. When you read the writing on a basketball or baseball, it goes over the entire surface of the ball. So, in essence, to get the picture or to hear, who manufactured Spalding or whoever, Wilson, the basketball and all the patents and everything else, you got to look at the whole thing. This is all being orchestrated simultaneously. Number one, let's take it 1, 2, 3. The flu. There are multiple strains of the flu. The one I'm worried about is the Ebola Spanish flu of 1918. I've warned about it. I've interviewed different bioscientists and over the years, different bioweaponeers. That's the one they also are worried about. That's why all the scientists, and I know you had a show on it or mentioned my list of dead scientists, they were dead because they either worked on it or could have said to everybody, hey, wait a minute, this is genetically altered. So the thing is that it's happening. There's a story on the BBC. It's on my front side of my news site today, stevequayle.com, Alex, that we're all being mutated, okay? Mutated. In other words, all of the environmental toxins, all of the food toxins, all the genetically altered binders that are being put in. First of all, the thing that I want to say is this, is that we can stand against this thing, but we cannot stop it. Because, again, and here's where you and I will differ. We are in a period unlike any other period in the history of time. It's not the end of the world, but is that time when the New World Order, and Alex, I think you just said it about 30 minutes ago, you've spoken against it so many times, and you've done a fabulous job, but when it's here, it is here with such a ferocity in your face. But the thing that hurts, I don't know if it hurts you, it breaks my heart that people who should have been fighting it instead of fighting us, now they're in deep doo-doo, okay? Because there's nothing that's going to pull them out. In essence, unless America repents, and this is my final statement on this, on the order of Nineveh, where our days are numbered. Look, let's talk about the other thing the Chinese did in the economy. This is critical, ladies and gentlemen. Hong Kong has demanded London return their gold to Hong Kong for safekeeping. Saudi Arabia has done the same thing. Guess what? With all the funny business in the Bank of England and all of the different bank holding companies and gold holding banks in London, it's going to be hard. They're going to be hard pressed to be able to produce it. So guess what? Once that is found out, the price of the metal should explode. It doesn't surprise me if they try and hit gold $100 from the high. We may see, $1,050, $1,100, then it'll go down a week. But the next time it's going into Martin Armstrong's numbers, and he's talking $5,000 gold. The point is that those who trusted the system, they were like the willing accomplices to a massive gang rape, and they wake up the following morning and know they've been violated by literally, dozens, if not hundreds of men, and they figure out that they probably shouldn't have gotten drunk the night before. But that's what happens with the intoxicating.
But Steve, I want to go back. I want to go back to flu. I've been reading where they say it's a DNA therapy, one of the 5 vaccines. It changes our DNA. That isn't a vaccine. That's some type of weird mutagen.
Right,
and they're admitting...
It's monster making, Alex. Look, they're also putting in, ladies and gentlemen, remember when we were sold the horse manure and your governor went along with it on Gardasil? Do you know how many people are dying of Gardasil?